So Travis, I'm here first of all, I'm TC Carson. I'm here with Travis Shoaf. I have to ask you, Travis, where is Shoaf from? Where is that from?
It's actually German in nature.
Ah,
Um, my parents came over. Both of my parents are immigrants, actually.
okay.
My mother's side is Italian. Her last name is Della Rocca.
Hmm.
It changed it to Del Rocco on Ellis Island. And then Shoaf was actually Shoff, which was Schaff, which also got Americanized for ease, Shoaf. Um, it's funny, actually, because, when you go to college, well, when I went to college anyway, it was a while back. But my English 101 course was you had to go find the origin of your name. Well,
Hmm.
Travis means at a crossroads. My last name, Shoaf, means one who resembles a goat. So that was fun to share in class. Or a goat herder, one of those things. So uh, pretty
Oh,
funny.
I didn't know that Travis meant crossroads.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
It's French. Fun
uh,
fact.
well, how have you been, man? How have you been, and how have you been handling this pandemic and social
Oh,
distancing and
and I'm gonna do my best not to make this a therapy session. I it's been pretty rough out here. I actually I'm an actor, but that's come down quite a bit
yeah.
due to everything. But my day job is I'm a director of operations for a nutritional supplement company, and we are considered an essential business. So starting there,
Hmm.
it's been challenging to say the least. We actually saw a large increase in volume, which forced us to actually hire during the beginning stages of the pandemic, which it's so austere and out of touch, and it's hard to really get a feel for somebody with a mask on and gloves, and then finding all of this PPE when you know. I found myself in a moral quandary actually because I know first responders and doctors and nurses they needed this PPE so bad, and my job is considered essential, and we need all of those things. So we need surgical masks, and we need gloves, and we need Clorox wipes, and all of these things that just started disappearing.
Hmm.
You couldn't get a Clorox wipe. I'll tell you now. I just got two refill buckets of Clorox wipes, and it's been since April since I couldn't get any. I had to make my own wipes. Thankfully, I have the knowledge to do so. So that's been something. Um, Other than that, you know, I'm trying to limit myself as much as possible. I live with my wife and my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is, a little older, and my wife is immune suppressed. So I try not to do my best to bring the disease anywhere near them. So it's been interesting for sure.
I bet. And so that on top of the Black Lives Matter movement and what is going on with civil rights in this country, how do you feel about that and police brutality?
My first thing to say remotely out of that is it's about frickin' time. Um, I you know I've seen so much happen over the course of my life that is just completely and utterly unjust, and it's horrible to watch.
Hmm.
And you feel so helpless. You can call your congressman, and you can support your friends, and it just doesn't stop that fear of what could happen, and the violence, and just it's just nasty. It's just nasty.
Yeah.
I for one, I'm glad it's happening, and I'm glad it hasn't escalated to a point where too many people are being hurt, and people are, being as peaceful as humanly possible, and minus our government, but that's a whole other topic. Um, I couldn't be more proud of my friends and what they've been doing. Um, all I want to do is be as supportive as I can during this time because it's not my time. know, it's my time to be supportive and let this play out the appropriate
Okay.
way.
Well,
That's just right for everybody. You know.
well, that's how it's going to change. Is that people finally actually acknowledge it and then give the support to make it go away, to make it change. That's how it's going to change. Okay, so let's get because we could be on that all day. We really could.
Yes, we really
But
do.
in one word, can you describe how you felt when you opened your after you opened your envelope on the confession show?
It was cathartic. That's a word.
Hmm.
You know, for the experience, it was very, very cathartic. I remember leaving the studio and just feeling lighter, so much lighter. It was nice. Again, therapy session. Here we are.
Was it hard for you to discuss your confession? Were you nervous?
Oh, I was absolutely nervous. Yeah, I was definitely nervous, but you know, at the same time, it's invigorating. It's nice to discuss the things that sit in the back of your head and don't really have many opportunities to share with people. You know, there are experiences that I've found personally help people more often than not. I feel like in the human condition, sharing experiences and emotions has, in my experience anyway, brought out more positive outcomes than any negative or neutral outcomes that I've ever seen. You know, the mental health and addiction stuff, it's so stigmatized in society that it ends up being pushed aside.
Mm,
And it's one of those things, two of those things really. They're kind of intertwined in my opinion, but they're two things that I really feel like need to be addressed, you know, at all times. So I'm very open, very, very open with those things. And, you know, most times it's in a smaller space. So I relish the opportunity to have a conversation. But it's definitely a little more, you know, I can't think of the best word for it. You feel more exposed
yeah,
uh, doing it in that type of setting. But yeah, I healthy fear, but also an opportunity.
excellent. We'll talk about if the confession box session provided you any healing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I really do feel like it was good to talk to people who I haven't talked to a lot. You know, just to I don't mean to repeat myself, but I really like to talk about these things. You know, I'm huge on talking about addiction and mental health, and people don't discuss these things enough. I know people who are friends of mine in the Black community specifically don't talk about mental health a lot. I know a
Hmm.
lot of people who don't talk about addiction a lot, and that's, you know, that's just, it's not healthy. It's so much more valuable to have the experience and to be able to help somebody in a moment of need, and knowing my personal experience with it, how shut in I was, but how obvious it wasn't to the world. You know, when you see something depicted in film, television, you always see a junkie with a needle hanging out of his arm.
It's the extreme.
Right. You always see the extreme. You never see the 40-year-old banker who has 3 kids and just genetically is predisposed to use opiates. You don't see that. You just don't. And you have this picture in your head of you know, your preconceived notions of what you imagine to see in society, and then the polar opposite is in front of you. You know, it's always, oh my God, I can't believe he used drugs. Oh my God, could you believe he was bipolar? It's always that. It's never, oh well, of course. You know. Um, so I do feel like it's very helpful and very cathartic to do those types of things.
Did you find it easier after you were on the show to talk to your friends um, different issues or different things that you had kept silent? It seems that you talk to your friends a lot. So was it easier after the show, or is it about the same?
I want to say it was definitely easier.
Okay.
The biggest portion about the show that still sticks with me is discussing like my younger life and my mother and those things that I don't bring up very frequently.
Hmm.
Um, when I talk about addiction or mental health, it's a very singular situation. When you talk about things that affected you at a very impressionable age, when you were developing and molding your personality, it's so much more personal. Those were the parts of the interviews that really I felt the most, exposed. They were the hardest to talk about. And I found that even, most of my close friends, I'll spill my guts to anybody, but now to these days, honestly, yes, since Confession Box, I felt like friends who are more tertiary friends than, direct friends, I can openly have a conversation about, my issues with, growing up with my parents. And, 9 times out of 10, I've found people have similar experiences, or they empathize enough to the point where they understand. And, it's nice to have that. It really is. It has helped for sure.
Excellent, excellent, man. So, would you recommend Confession Box to somebody who wants to tell their story?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love everybody who's associated with Confession Box. I've had the pleasure to work with them a couple times. So, you know, they're just good people. And it was a great time. It was a very nice time. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Excellent. So, tell the viewer something they don't know about you. Tell them something, your passion or your hobby, or something they wouldn't know.
Well, I just started 3D printing a couple weeks ago. That was fun. Um,
What have you printed?
I printed a lot of like statues and functional pieces for assembling things. My wife and I are into cosplay. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not
So we.
hey, man. Come on, dude.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Very cool. Yeah. So my wife is a huge Buffy fan, and we started making like props and stuff in the show. So that was fun. It's still fun. And we actually got into gaming. So,
Oh, so now, if there was one word to describe your experience on Confession Box, what would that be?
yeah, it popped right back in my head again. I got to say, cathartic. It was very cathartic, enjoyable. You know, um, it's just it was out of body. It was almost surreal. You know, it was one of those things that I walked in with not low expectations, but just general expectations, and I left kind of going, "What just happened to me?" In a good way. In a good
That's
way.
great, brother. That's great.
Um, yeah, it was fantastic. It was a very good experience.
Well, Travis, man, is really good talking to you, brother. It really
Thank you,
was. So tell
TC.
the
It's
people
great
how
to
to
meet you.
find you. What's your social media and all of that stuff?
The social medias. You could find me. Luckily, there's not a lot of Travis Shoafs in the world. So yeah, I'm on Facebook as Travis Shoaf. I'm on Twitter as Travis Shoaf. I want to say I'm on Instagram as Travis Shoaf. So that's SHOAF, like we discussed in the beginning.
Yes.
Um, but have fun trying to sound it out because it's a
It took me a minute. It took me a second.
yeah. It's like growing up, I always had to say it's loaf with a sh in front of it. Yeah.
Aha.
My mom taught me that, and we've come full circle now.
Well, it was great talking to you, Travis, man. I
It's
wish
great
you luck
talking.
in everything you do.
I hope we get to meet in person.
Oh, I'm sure we will.
All right, Mr. Carson, thank you so much.
All right, brother. Take care.
Good evening.